Hey, welcome to Attack It Trucker and Car Series. We're up here at Roanoke, Virginia. I got a little issue. Let's see, on Thursday morning, about 3 o'clock in the morning, I hear okay, that's the sound that you do. That's the sound that you do your road fix. Depending on what truck you got. Don't get it confused with this. Similar for sure. Hey, welcome to Attack Adventures today. Hey, welcome back to Attack It Trucker and Car Series. Again, we're gonna go over what the courts had to say about this. I was sleeping. What happened? It was the first week in February. I caught some construction coming down 81, going through the state of Virginia, and I actually pulled into a Travel America truck stop, and I parked. And I started checking my messages. I had to get on the phone to my dispatch. Dispatch wanted me back close to the terminal, and asked me to do the best I could, which I did. I got back on the road, started headed south, caught some more of that construction. Well, actually, that was the construction that I run into. I started getting closer to the final hour of my 14 combined driving and on duty. So once I see that I have an hour, I usually decide right then I'm not gonna risk getting too late. I won't be able to find a parking. So, I did what I had done earlier that week, which was going to the scale house, and it was already past dark. Like I said, I had 54 minutes left on my basically on my driving, which means it don't matter if it's driving or whatever. 54 minutes driving. If you have longer than that, that's only working hours. It does nothing if I'm looking for parking and spend. Sometimes you can spend 35 or 45 minutes just looking for parking and trying to really work at it. So, like I said, I just went ahead and parked up. So I did my post trip. I didn't read the signs. The one sign in front of my trucks, it read parking. This parking lot is for customers only. Basically, the other one right next to it says no parking, no overnight parking. Maybe it said no parking, and that was it. I was so upset the next day after I got my ticket. I just kind of glanced over there and verified that it was even posted, which I knew it would. I don't, like I said, I don't read those signs, but I will from now on, because the original ticket that I received after 9 hours and 22 minutes of being parked, officer started hitting on the side of the cab, sleeper cab, to make sure I heard him. And I had a good idea who it was, but I wasn't even really asleep after 9 hours. I'm ready to get up. But anyways, he didn't ask me to go on duty because after 8 hours, my clock would allow me to go back on duty for taking. There's only 2 ways to stop that clock. You can do 8 hours in the sleeper, and after 8 hours in the sleeper, it will actually it's actually the minimum to stop the clock is an 8 hour consecutive. So in other words, if I had the 54 minutes of drive time, I wouldn't be able to use 54 minutes to leave until I did an 8 hour break, which if I was really playing it safe, I would have said, okay, the parking here is iffy. I'm going to do an 8 hour, 8 and 2 hour split. The 8 hour would stop my clock and give me back the 54 minutes that I had 8 hours prior to going into the sleeper. And I think there's actually one more new law that really takes that 8 and 2 away. But anyway, I still do an 8 and 2. My company hasn't said nothing to me, and I know if I do 8 hours and I look at my clock and I've got, let's say there's 3 hours there, if I feel okay, I'm go ahead and start my day back. But so the officer give me the ticket disobeying a highway sign, and when I showed it to my safety department, he said, well, he says, yeah, you're going to have to appear in court because you're basically, he says, this is a moving violation. And so I brought that up when I went up back to Virginia to hire the attorney. I told him what safety said and that morning.
We'll show you the video right here.
Let's see, on Thursday morning, about 3 o'clock in the morning, I hear yes, sir, officer. How can I help you? Need to see driver's license, registration. And I'm standing in my boxer shorts. He says, you know, I'm at a way station. I've run out of hours. He says, you know, you're in parking just for the way station, customers only. Which I became one real quick. So I don't know. I didn't go around reading all the signs. I figured that there'd be other trucks parking with me. Of course, there's no trucking, or there's no real good solutions. If you run into a backup, which I had done on Wednesday evening, I ran into a little construction, and also just getting low on time because I'm trying to go as much as I can on my current day. So I don't know. I find out that the attorney is going to be quite expensive, and also you know, I just feel here in Roanoke that, you know, it is what it is. But I'm trying to keep it off my CSA because the company that I drive for is not going to go into none of that. They've had in the past, they've had speeding tickets and also a few like improper lane usage tickets, and it's making us, it's making our points go up, and you want that number to be in a low number, and if you keep getting parking and so forth, it just makes you look stupid. Which I've been doing this for 15 years. I've parked in plenty of way stations, even if it says no parking, for the simple fact of being, I thought that they're going to cite you if you're driving over your clock. You know, I mean,
Or parked on a ramp somewhere.
right. My charge on the ticket is failure to obey traffic sign. Okay, so I'm parked in a parking lot. I'm not on the highway. I'm not on a ramp. True, it says you cannot park overnight. I understand that. But your scale house is open 24 hours. It's not like I'm going to be over there throwing a bag of, your fast food out the back door of the truck. I mean, I'm not, and you have a porta-john, so these are some of the things when they were going over solutions for trucks. They were saying, you know, some of these businesses that are shut down, you've got these parking lots anyways. That's one solution. Another solution would be don't close the rest areas down after hours and then say, well, we're going to gate it off. I'm not going to mention these areas, but if a truck gets in there by 4 o'clock, they shut the gate for no more trucks. But the trucks that are in there, the gates are only locked for inbound. You can leave as you want. That, you know, so if I park on that side of the gate, then I'm in the wrong. If I don't get there at a certain time, I'm, going to have to continue on and possibly park on a ramp somewhere, which is no parking again. So one of the solutions was allow the trucks to park at the weigh station. So I kind of thought that they were looking the other direction on us. To be honest, in the 15 years, I've heard plenty of trucks say absolutely, if they can cite me for out of service, they can also put up with my vehicle there because I had no other choice. Okay, Roanoke, Virginia, there's a couple of pay parking. I know there's one at the motel. Kind of difficult to get into that place with the new construction that they did on the highways. If you happen to find yourself in the Roanoke and you take the exit for the 151, I think the attorney was talking what that one was, you can possibly slip in there and just blend in with the rest of the trucks that are actually renting a room overnight. But I've heard of guys doing it. I don't recall ever parking at a motel. And you could just hang it up at the Pilot over there. I mean, you can't even get in there to get your fuel during the day, let alone try to park at night without, having somebody pull the front end of your wagon off. Or I'm just not going to take that risk. From here on out, southbound on 81, I'm going to stop up at the around the 64 and 81 junction there. There's plenty of parking up that way. And if I'm going north, I'm sure not going to park into that other rest area. Not a rest area. I'm not going to park into that other scale house. Also, be fair warned. My attorney has informed me that you parking on the ramp of that rest area is not safe one either. So if you're going to park anywhere double parked up or whatever, you need to stick it in the truck stop. Even if you're going to put 5 trucks at unease with you where they got to wake you up, I would rather do that, cause a problem. Like what you could do is the back row of the trucks at a rest area, you can actually, they're going this way, you could actually come up behind them.
Yeah.
I see now why I don't do that. I see why trucks will do that. It's because they maybe they knew and I didn't. Like I said, I don't know everything, and I run the same routes. I get kind of I get kind of to where I feel like I know what's going on. Maybe I don't know what's going on all the time.
No, I don't think it's that. I think they just need to put more things out there for truck drivers. Shoot, when we were in the West, they had more things for the truck drivers than the East does. Like the side off the road, you know, where you can park for the truck drivers.
Sometimes that's got to do with sometimes I know what you're saying. They kind of feel like there's more of an issue going one direction. Like, say, if you're coming out of a major city, sometimes they feel, well, we need to give them preference on the parking, not necessarily before a city. It's kind of goofy the way they sure don't look at it as a fairness thing. I've actually looped around before because of what you're talking about.
Yeah. But the thing is,
I'll take the big
when you run out of time and you don't have nowhere to park, let's say there's no more parking spots at a gas station or at a truck stop, they need to make other things like in between instead of that one little area. Even the rest areas don't have that much truck parking either.
Well,
they might have maybe about 5 or 6.
I've never been messed with on the ramp, be honest with you. If a cop wants to start being that way, hey, well, you gotta have a good reason to go after the trucks. I mean, we gotta go sit someplace, and you know, we made the effort to get to a rest area, to the truck stop.
And you also made an effort of not, when you were tired, not to hurt someone by keep on driving. And you could have hurt someone if you kept on driving.
Well, here's the deal. And I'm sure that if somebody was to leave a comment, if they were truck drivers, they're going to say it's all about the revenue. Well, I don't really see anybody being affected by this other than the truck driver.
Yeah.
Because the policeman was paid. He's paying an hourly pay. The town, the court's going to get paid. The attorney's going to get paid.
And the truck driver just paid $500.
And my company's going to be watching me real close because they want to make sure that this CSA drops off. Which, you know, I don't think it's going to be more than a point or 2 points on a CSA to not obey a traffic sign. I wasn't driving. I wasn't on the highway, and I've already had my safety verified that I actually am looking pretty good on getting this dropped. I'm not trying to jinx myself, and I probably won't put this video out until we get the results in 30 days or more. If the results take 90 days, I've seen that, where the attorney has to have something come up and he pushes it back. That's fine, but I don't think I'm going to post this out until I know.
Okay.
And that way you'll know on this one clip. But anyways, other than that, I get to test out the Ford Explorer. We need to finish that video too. So stay tuned to that. I don't want to get everything run everything back together. But we got the truck running okay.
Just wrapping up.
All right then. Thanks for watching, and we'll give you an update here shortly. So go attack today. Thanks. Please leave a comment if you had any experience whatsoever. It could have been in your car and you fought it, and it went negatively on your record. But I recommend any CDL to go ahead and battle it. I mean, this was a cost, but it's on my resume too. If I decide to start looking for something else, and if I beat this, then I don't have to mention it. So it's worth it. You know, if you run a stop sign in your four-wheeler, maybe it's the only thing on your record, then I wouldn't recommend it. so much worrying about that. It's only a couple of points. All right. Well, thanks. Smash the like button. He said, well, basically we're going to have to see if we could get that ticket thrown out, which it wasn't thrown out. They said, well, okay, instead of disobeying a highway sign, we're going to switch it to the judge threw it out and said we're going to switch it to disobeying a highway sign while sleeping. So, and it's a big deal to me because that proves the officer wrote the wrong ticket.
Yeah, and he also put that you got arrested on the ticket and you didn't.
Well, technically, the only thing to me, what it means, if you have an arrest date and everything, he's just filling in the box.
Mm.
Arrest means that he gathered your license and your truck, your cab card, and but anyways, since I didn't do it the right way, I think the right way would have been to ask the correct questions before this went to court. Like, I kind of was mad enough to ask the question I didn't know. But the questions that you want, if you know you're going to keep on and trying, if you know you can beat this one, the good questions to ask would be, can we make sure that the ticket doesn't get paid so that we can dispute the original charge and get it just thrown out, because basically it did work out. It got thrown off of my record, and the way I'm looking at it, since I didn't have the idea that I might have to go to court a second time, which is, I think there was a case, because the cop wrote the wrong ticket. He wrote a ticket just as I was driving, but he knew I was not driving.
Well, basically, like any truck driver knows, though, if you don't have any time left and you got to park up, basically you need to warn them about the Virginia, what county you were in, because this county, even the lawyer knew that there was no trucking parking for miles to park at.
Well, the best way to describe it is
it was
Roanoke scale.
Yeah. And the other thing is,
the county would mean nothing to a truck
you're
driver.
Damned if you do, or you're damned if you don't, because what if you parked on the side on a ramp, like some truck drivers have to sometimes because they can't find parking or they run out of time right there, or you parked like in a place that says
it's the same ticket.
It's the same kind of ticket.
Yeah, if I go into a Kmart, it don't matter if the Kmart has been closed for a year. It's posted no trespassing or something. It's posted no trucks. It's posted no trucks from when the Kmart was open. So it's really not easy.
And some people give truck drivers a bad name because they're in the way. They say they're in their way. Basically this and that. It's the other way around. You're in their way, and you're providing for the country. Basically, y'all are delivering what we need to the stores, basically, to get what we need. But people are mean to truck drivers and say it's on the road and everything.
It's revenue.
I know it is.
And the way I'm looking at it, the way I have to look at it is, I look at it as an error in my part. I could have just as easily have been pulling into a place that said truck parking authorized, it's just the luck. Sometimes it's the luck of the draw. But the reason I'm looking at it now as just a mistake on my part is because um, the attorney and the court fee and the fine for sleeping in a no parking zone, it totaled up $667, which, you know, big truck, big money when you mess up. And that was my mess up, and I just wanted to share that with everybody. I'm not as mad now especially after just by letting, even if 10 people see this, that maybe they didn't know, which I didn't. I've been doing this for a little while. I didn't know that it would be a moving violation, even though I knew that it probably said you're not allowed to do it. But I know better now, so I'm gonna. I don't know how I'm gonna handle the no parking, but it's just part of it. Got to deal with it.
Unless things change.
So they're not gonna they're not gonna put a parking lot up for us.
Especially in Virginia. Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, and hope this helps. All right, and give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and leave a comment below. Thanks a lot.